Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another League of Legends contest between your Aquinas Saints and the Grey Wolves of Lourdes University down in Ohio. I'm sitting here with the one and only, they call him on the Rift, Speed, with a special character E, I believe. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, we're still kicking, still feeling old, but you know what? That's just how it goes. We will be started very shortly. I believe the lobby is just being created for the match coming up in just a few moments here, and then we'll get into pick and ban, and then from that we'll have our 3-minute delay, and then we will start the official casting. But until then, we have a new music playlist, which I'm happy to introduce because who doesn't mind a little background music, you know? But we hope that you are surviving this very interesting winter that Michigan is currently involved in. Seems like it snows about 8 inches, then it just doesn't snow for a number of weeks, and then it all goes away, and then it snows about 8 inches more, and then we have the same very interesting cycle. The lyric, "Here I am, and here am I, and here's Luke." Happy to see you here. We appreciate your viewership.
So we might as well get into a little bit of analysis while we have some downtime. I think really our goals from last game are going to be still applied here. We're going to be looking at communication. We're going to be looking at how Aquinas plays while they're down. And really looking at that jungle. Jari I really think had the weight on him for most of this time in trying to find his fit with the team. And I don't know that it's so much that it's his individual play. It's just I don't see too much rotation from, really anyone trying to counter that jungling, and, the wards just aren't there. They're not being cleared, and Vision has really lost them games.
Yeah. Vision is nowadays, you win the Vision game, you win the actual game. So Vision is incredibly important, and as we see from every game that we've been a part of so far, the enemy team has managed to manipulate and abuse Jari in the jungle, whereas establishing Vision, bullying him into having to leave his camps, and they just take the camps and then just putting him farther and farther behind. So I hope that Jari will be able to actually, so to speak, participate in this match here, because he's such a skilled player that I want it to be demonstrated on stream, because for the second match of the most previous stream, Jay and I sat here and we're just like, oh, Jari's on Lee Sin, we're gonna have ourselves a spectacle. But then the enemy team continued to abuse and manipulate him in the jungle, and we were unable to see the true skill that he possesses. But I'm looking forward to the day that we win the Vision control, we protect Jari in the jungle, we allow him to pop off, get some crazy insects going on, and then we'll be able to shoutcast and really appreciate and show off his true jungling skill that I've seen off stream. So I'm really looking forward to that. A little shout out to our top laner, It's John, for recently hitting Grandmaster this morning, actually.
He also...
Just Masters?
No, he got Grandmaster. He woke up this morning to Grandmaster.
Yes, he did. He earned it.
And he also got ranked number 1 in the U.S. or on the NA server.
Yes.
And set, and he's ranked number 6
Correct.
in the world on set.
Yes. It's John grinded his way to Masters, went to bed with 11 LP. Was like, you know what? That's good enough. The grind has been good. I'll get back to it another day. Came into the lab this morning, logged on. Congratulations, you've been promoted to Grandmaster because the cycle reset. And John said to me, he was like, that was a great way to start the morning.
Yeah.
To wake up to being Grandmaster. And as you said, he was indeed, he's now ranked the number 1 set in North America, which is no small feat, ladies and gentlemen. And then when you look at the worldwide perspective, he is the 6th best set in the world. So it's John. Just doing wonders on set. You see there, we just had one of our brand new transitions that I didn't mention last stream, but shout out to Corey, or Cade, known on the Rocket League team. I just stuttered over my words right there. And our very own Blue Jay, my fellow caster, who've been working on those. Very beautiful, to say the least. But now we find ourselves in pick and ban. On the side of Aquinas, we have a Rise ban. And on the side of Lourdes, we have a Fizz ban. So I believe both bans are targeting the mid laner, because Keelan has currently been putting a number of games on Fizz, and from a sparse conversation that we've just had, I'm aware that his win rate is in quotation actually nuts. So I'll have to take his word for it.
I'm sorry.
Fizz, yes.
Fizz, yes, I believe it's around 53%.
Keelan's win rate?
I think just Fizz in general.
Oh, so Keelan's must surpass that naturally. And then we see another Cassio ban that's going to be, it's probably targeted to the mid lane, and a Kled ban on the side of Lourdes, that's going to be targeting It's John at the top lane. And we did just mention Set, but he is currently banned naturally by CLOL, which is the conference that we're currently playing in. So It's John will not be able to play Set, neither will the enemy team. So that ban will never occur, just for the record.
And I do, I'm waiting on that nerf for Cass, because I feel like she is a almost permanent ban in pro and even in regular gameplay. She's just very strong. She can carry the whole team. She's a very good hyper carry, and I'm sure not at this level, but the next level, Rumble is also becoming a very strong pick in the mid lane, and I think that's something that we might potentially see, but I'm not too sure on what Lord's roster's playing. So
right. So we see a Nautilus ban coming out from the side of AQ, but I was hoping that they would hold off on the Nautilus ban to see if they would pick Senna, because as we've seen, Nautilus can abuse Senna quite a bit. So I was hoping that they would hold off on that ban, but now they have a free Senna, but we do have the Leona first pick. That's going to end up with J Freeze. So they may not have a Nautilus, but they do have a Leona, which
the king and queen of CC.
Absolutely, as I said before. So it should be a similar matchup with Leona in the bot lane to go aggressive on the Senna if they choose to place that way. An Aatrox pick, that's going to find itself in the top lane, most likely for It's John. I doubt Keelan won't want to take that mid as of late.
I was actually looking at It's John's match history yesterday, and I'm almost surprised to see the Aatrox, but at the same time, not quite, because I think in his last 20 games, that from what I saw, he had only played 4 champions, and those being Set, Kled, Ornn, and Aatrox.
Yeah. As of right now, It's John is doing the best he can just to keep the grind going and keep making his way to Challenger. That is his end goal. It's his season goal. And he's certainly encroaching on it. Find himself in Grandmaster. And maybe in a few days we'll find him to be Challenger, which would be quite an achievement for It's John, and quite an achievement for Aquinas overall. We see it a Diana pick, and we've discussed it on stream before that Diana is quite a menace if given the opportunity.
My question is, did they try and pick that one out of Keelan? Because I saw they were just practicing with Keelan playing Diana. So seeing as he had just had a couple games on Diana, the last game that we saw, as well as his last practice game, maybe they were trying to pull that away from him.
They certainly might be. When it comes to competitive play, it's either we're going to ban your champ or we're going to take it from you. So definitely quite a possible idea here.
And they're showing Tom
Kench. Unbenched like Kench. What a day it would be. I'm always a fan of Tom Kench. I used to enjoy playing Tom Kench at the top lane, but ever since they made it so that his Q did not apply the stack.
I'm almost curious where he's gonna go though, because right now they're showing Ornn, Senna, and Tom Kench.
Are you thinking Senna ADC and Tom Kench support, or what are you thinking?
That could be it. The only other potential I really see would be Senna support, Tom Kench top, and Ornn jungle.
an Echo pick, that's going to find its way to Jari in the jungle. I'm a fan of Echo. I believe it was last season, whenever I would play ranked, try to get on that grind, whenever I had myself an Echo jungle, I was like,
with the
this is
Diana,
beautiful.
though, it could fall to Keelan.
It could. This is
Echo
definitely a
has
flex pick
he has
right
great roam potential. He's I'm not the biggest fan of his lane ganks, but
now. You were correct. It is in the mid lane.
with that Diana, just as soon as she jumps on him, if she pulls out that ult, he can just hit the rewind button,
Rewind, absolutely.
jump all the way back.
So our final team comp is going to be John on Aatrox, Jari on Zach, Keelan on Echo, 0 on Caitlyn, and Leona on Jayfreeze on Leona. Excuse me there. And Orin in the top lane for the side of Lourdes University, Jarvan in the jungle, Diana mid, Senna ADC, and Tom Kenchi currently hovering Smite. I would think that's an accident, but man, oh man, if he doesn't change it, that would be interesting.
I think something, when you look at these two team comps, I really do like the Aquinas team comp right here, because you have the 3-tank wall with your backline being Caitlyn, and Echo is able to just jump across and take out their backline. As a great assassin, we've seen Keelan do some really cool things with different assassins. And on the other side, it looks like they're trying for a trap comp with maybe an Ornn knock-up into the Jarvan ult, into the Diana ult.
Oh, Tom Kench switches his Smite to Exhaust at the very last second. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a very interesting accident, and I was interested to see how he was going to play about it. But nonetheless, he was able to switch it just in time. Man, that would have been interesting. When you look at these two team comps, what do you think overall?
I think it's going to be really, if Aquinas can execute the traditional, have your tanks in front, have your backline laying down damage, and with that Echo pick off the backline, it's going to be very important that they can execute that well. But, it's going to be scary if they are caught in the Jarvan, Diana, Ornn combo.
Yes.
But on the other hand, the Leona is a very good pick into that, because, if Jarvan jumps in and ults, she can just drop her ult right in his, little arena that he pulls up and almost cancel it out or really punish him for it.
On the side of Aquinas, I think the team comp is actually quite strong. Because if we think about just like the perfect engage we have, let's say Zach fully maxed out E, jumps halfway across the map, engages, gets himself a good knock-up. You can have the Leona ult follow up right after that. It's going to lock him down. Echo's going to be able to throw out his stunning, which can lead into a shield. And then Aatrox can find himself and volley all of his Qs right in the middle, as we have 0 picking him off with a few headshots in the backline. If they're able to execute, this could be quite a dominant team on the side of Aquinas, just from champion picks. And on the side of Ornn, as you say, we could have Jarvan go in with EQ ultimate, get in there. Ornn can then call his ult. Diana's gonna have to jump in there. Tom Kench would just mosey on up there and throw out some Qs, some auto attacks, do what he can, and be that tank. Maybe even ult in there at the beginning of the fight, and then Diana to swoop in there and then bring down the moon and do what she can.
Aquinas has what we call a Season 4 or Season 5 team comp. Most of the champs were made either in Season 4 or Season 5 or, before that. And it looks like that's almost becoming the meta these days, just as they are very strong, and the classic comp is something that you can definitely run with in competitive play. It's very important with communication. So having that communication with that old classic team where communication is important, I like this. I like how much communication is going to have to be involved if they do want to win. And you know what? I'm going to say this before the stream before the game starts, but I kind of hope they start down, because I want to see them, show off what they've got. And, we saw in their last game that they were fighters. You know, they saw that they were down by quite a bit. I think it was about a 10K gold lead, and they were fighting. They were pushing through. They had some really good turns, but you know, it didn't come through in the end. So as we've got this game starting, you know, just kind of going over what our goals are for this game again is going to be, you know, making sure Jari does not fall behind is really, I think, the most important goal of this game. Making sure we're showing up to objectives early, because drag is still an issue where they were showing up late, keeping vision on Dragon so they can't just pull it out from behind. And with Jarvan, that's not super easy, you know, level 5, but, you know, eventually he'll be able to come down and take dragons quite simply. And then, you know, we'll see how this goes. I mean, it's mostly around jungle, and, you know, Jari's new, Double Zero's new. I really want to see them come into this comp as, you know, two great additions. And I know they are individually, but you know, this is basically a new team with just two new additions. I mean, that's close to half your team, and you know, I guess we'll see what happens here. So just from the start, looks like we have no invades. Everyone's playing fairly safe, which is probably a pretty good idea. There's not too much of a one side that has such a strong level 1 that really can make capitalizing on it a thing. I think it's a pretty easy, even trade. You know, we'll be looking around mid lane, see what Keelan's able to do against Diana. And, you know, this bot lane is also going to be something important to watch too, with PJR, you know, being a new addition and not even really being an ADC main and really taking on to try something new. I do like the aggressive poke he threw out with that Q right there, just to kind of, it seems like he's gaining some confidence in that role.
Ooh, some great damage coming out from Keelan at level 1. No, that was level 2, excuse me.
I think that was,
oh yeah, it was level 2 because the dash. We have a little skirmish. Keelan going for it early here, going to show his prowess in mid lane abuse here. Gets himself the respect he deserves in that mid lane. As we saw at the very beginning of the game, we had both teams have a 5 point the exact same way, actually. The jungler showed mid, top lane and mid lane were on the top side of the map, in addition to the bot lane in the same positions as one another there. Very interesting. I don't recall seeing two teams facing one another. Both have a 5 point in the very beginning of the game, but I'm open to it.
And it looks like Jarvan's hovering mid, and Zach's going to answer him.
We see, Diana goes in there. See, this is fun to watch. We have a little mid lane battle already commencing. We have a huge wave headed into Keelan. He finds himself 11 down, but that wave, if he's able to capitalize on the wave, should be just fine in the end. But we already have ourselves quite a game here. I think Diana bullied him too much during that, and he was only able to pick up 3 CS rather than maybe the 8 that was there. So that is not a good trade there. It's John getting a little poked out by Ornn. Ornn is an S tier top laner as of late, but It's John does find himself 8 CS up. He's putting down some hits there. He's getting some hits back in the meanwhile, but he's not allowing Ornn to farm. So this is a success.
It's interesting to see right here. There's a lot of poke going down from really both sides, but I'd say much more from Lourdes. Aquinas is really trying to capitalize on
It's John at the very stage. So he's going to have to burn flash. Ornn is going to flash W, but it's not going to be enough. Both will get out with their lives. Very dangerous and just a spooky, so to speak, play in the top lane. Very close. Both top lane flashes are burned. Bot lane is once again a tango. Like we've said earlier, I hope Jay Freeze is going to stand in front of those Tom Ken's Qs so that Double Zero doesn't get poked out, and then he's going to be forced to back and he's going to put it behind. So I hope Jay Freeze is going to
looks like
stand
Zach's
in front there.
Come in for the lane game.
The alcove play with the ever since the addition of these alcoves to top and bot lane, me and my my friend group itself, whenever someone tries to go into the alcove, we make a huge deal about it. Oh, it's an alcove play.
We jokingly made a club called Remember the Alcove.
Oh, excellent. As we see, Diana already back to the mid lane. Now she has 2 Doran's rings. Keelan just made his back, buys himself 2 amped homes. 2 items on 2 items. But Diana will have more HP. Oh, and an aggressive deep ward coming out from Jay Freeze. That's interesting to see. I haven't seen her do that one before.
I like it, though. I really like it.
It's going to get instantly taken away by Jarvan, but a ward for his sweeper,
You know,
nonetheless.
I almost feel like most of the problems with the warding and with, how 0-0 was playing was a lot of confidence issue. But you look at the wave pushed out, 0-0's matching CS, which is phenomenal at this point. They're poking on both sides. This is definitely something to watch.
Yeah, this is a game. We have 19 viewers on the stream currently. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no kills. A early solo dragon. Very interesting. Jarvan was a level 4 solo on the side of Jarvan. Very
that
interesting.
Takes some skill.
I wasn't sure if he was able to pull that off. I've been fancying the jungle role as of late, so I've been doing early solo dragons, but I've been doing it level 5 typically, just to be safe. We have It's John doing lots of damage. He's a level down though, so Ornn could not turn it, but get away safely with his ultimate here. Keelan going to find himself backing again. He's currently down a wave in CS. Bot lane is backed. But 0-0 now ahead in CS. They're going to want to crash this wave so that Senna is unable to get this remaining wave here, and that will even out and then keep his lead ahead. Oh, a full engaged top lane. It's John drops World Ender. He's going to 2v1. The healing won't be enough. He's going to go down. First blood on the side of Lourdes. Jarvan's going to take that ward there too. Unless I think someone may have dropped another ward there just so he wouldn't be able to get it.
Something to watch there too is that 0-0 has not backed yet, and he's at 57 farm. That looks like an early BF sword.
He just backed
and
here.
A dagger, which is a great addition. We're seeing if you just look at wards right now, there's 2 pinks on It's John. There's a pink on 0-0, and there's 2 pinks on Jay Freeze. I really think vision is their key point of this game, and I don't know if they're, they're really working on what I think was probably their most problematic struggling areas, and I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, Aquinas is really on the side of vision. The coach, it's Pope. Just Pope. Excuse me, I was just thinking about It's John. But Pope, he's like, guys, vision wins games. You win the vision game, you can win the game. Simple. So even myself, like when I just play my solo games, whenever I back and I have 75 extra gold, or if I have just 60, I'll wait another 15 just so I can pick up a vision ward just to re-emphasize that idea that vision indeed does win games.
And I do see a major difference between iron and plat play, just with what the range I've
Engage
seen.
in the mid lane. Zach's going in with the Q. He's going to bring him back. Diana fights with very taking. The moon's going to come down. The passive is going to dispel. The vision's going to come out. The Senna ult's coming too. The rewind goes in. She's so tanky. Jarvan comes in. No, the ultimate comes in. The flash goes out too. Jarvan goes down from the ultimate. And the sweeping moon comes out from Diana and takes out Keelan. Diana is just so healthy with the double Doran's rings that they were unable to take her down there. But nonetheless, that was fun to watch.
That was fun to watch.
And the movement there by Jarvan on the side of Lourdes University was
and really responding to that was
quick response.
Very strong.
It's John dropping World Ender. He's going to go in on the Ornn here. He must not have ultimate. But CDs are down. Keelan's back coming up. But the stun won't go, but he can jump in. The flash goes in. Oh, Keelan is going to find himself very close to getting taken out, but he will leave alive. As you can see to the left of the screen, Keelan with barely any HP. If he would have taken one more auto from Ornn, may have found himself taken out there. But ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a game. Call your grandma, call your cousin, call your best friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friends, your neighbors you don't even know. Call them, get them on this game. Very interesting. Jay Freeze
It's going to stop Tom Kench's back, which is, splitting them up is going to be pretty important. I mean, when you have just your ADC in lane, it's much different than having, both at the same time. So having them recall at different times was actually quite the move there.
I'd like to comment on just how it may have just been farming, but 0-0 pulls off a very beautiful finish to that minion wave there. As we've said before, he was not an ADC main until since he joined the team and was like, hey man, we need an ADC.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he was a jungle main, but the level of learning he has to understand and how to CS better that was very impressive to see. It was very
you can
nice.
really see his confidence going up. I mean,
Diana goes in mid. Zach's coming in from the side. He's going to drop the moon. The rewind goes. Jarvan's coming in. He's going to have ultimate there. Cataclysm going out. Tom Kedge ultimate coming in too. Zach's going to say, let's bounce, and try to find himself out of there. He's going to flash away. He's probably not going to be enough. He's getting slow. Diana's going to come in. The Conqueror stack. Oh, but he just gets out. Jayfree's going 1v3 just to hit the Tom Kedge a little bit. Another top lane fight here. It's John goes in. The chain comes out. I have a small little tangle, but it looks like that'll be all.
And it looks like that was enough for Lourdes to be able to grab the second drag, which, that's, seeing that it's not going to be Infernal and Ocean, my guess would be, a Mountain Drake would probably be the best for Aquinas. So, maybe taking that and seeing if it's a Mountain will be something beneficial to them.
It's John finds himself going in. Dops World Ender. The W comes out. It's going to pull him back in. The Q's going to come. Does Itchon have enough? One more auto is going to take it home. Oh, the Sentinel comes out. And Ornn will just get away. Barely. He does have ultimate. He might try to chase here. Ooh, a little tangle going on. Ornn might want to drop ultimate. He's going to come out. John's going to have to predict it. He's going to get popped, and he's gone. John couldn't have done much there. He didn't have flash. I think he used Umbral Shift, I believe, which is the little dash that Aatrox has on his E, I believe. And then it just wasn't enough. But quite a tango. Aquinas may find themselves down here, about 2K gold deficiency, but nonetheless, we got ourselves a game.
I do like to see this though, because when you look at both sides, Jarvan does have that early game on Zach, but when it's coming to a mid to late game, when the team fights are there, which I think in competitive play is probably the most important part of the game. That's where we're really going to see this comp shine if that's what happens.
We see the top lane and bot lane shift. They're going to get some turret plants. Good wave up there. John finds himself bot lane. Not It's John. Sorry, I'm so used to having It's John on. Ornn, my apologies. It's John. Now it's bot lane. We have 3 members of Aquinas looking topside. Going to try to see if they can get a pick. Diana and J4 closing in like Keelan. Keelan's not as healthy as Diana. The rewind comes out. He's going to 2v1. He can't do anything. The Cataclysm comes out. He's going to drop him.
Jay Freeze is showing up.
The ultimate comes out. It's bounce. Comes out. Can it be enough? Does he have enough damage? They're going to both focusing different targets here. Lack of communication. The turret shot comes out. Tom Kench too. She's going to escape just barely with the Hextech Proto Belt. It's John going on bot lane. He's going to have ourselves a little fight. He's doing some damage. He does have World Ender, so maybe he can pick up a kill there. But we do see that Ornn has Merc Treads and a... Oh, it's the beginning item to Thornmail. I buy this item all the time, and I just...
Bramble Vest.
Bramble Vest. That is the one. Nonetheless, as I just said, Aquinas is down, but we still have ourselves quite a spectacle going on. I see the main problem here is that Diana is just too healthy to be taken down with just 2 or just 1 member from Aquinas right now. I think we're going to need to have 3 people to come in and take out Diana. We see Leona coming back to top lane to protect 0-0 with that lane exchange. We have Jari on blue buff. He's not looking healthy. He does have Cell Division, which is his passive. So maybe he'll try to get a little healthy and then take a little his stab at a gank. But it looks like Lourdes is going to attempt to get this Rift Herald here. Keelan sitting mid lane, finds himself 1-3. He can't do much here. Jarvan on the right is going to move himself to Rift. And this might be just a quick, easy Rift on the side of Lourdes here.
And one thing to note here is that Aquinas does have much
tower
better
dive.
vision.
Moon comes out. He does have rewind, but he doesn't pop it soon enough, and it gets taken down by Diana. We have It's John going in on Ornn bot lane. Ornn stops the W pull. Oh, the flash auto with the ult. He drops World Ender. He gets hit, but he flashes. Oh, the interrupts the E, It's John could take this if he had just had the CD and the cooldown. That's the same thing. Excuse me, if he just had the damage from his abilities and enough CD, but the World Ender ends, taking back those extra stats, and is unable to take down Ornn. With the Bramble Vest on Ornn, it's making it very difficult for It's John to take him down, and especially have that healing, because Bramble Vest does reduce that healing. Quite a game. We do find ourselves 1-7, but like I've said 3 times now, it's actually quite a game so far. Very
The lead
exciting.
is not as big as you would expect it to be for 1-7.
It is nearly 4,000 gold, but nonetheless. Jarvan is dropping Rift mid. It's gonna get a number of plates here. Actually, it's gonna take down the
tower.
it will take the whole tower. We couldn't see it from the mini map, but the only way that they can stop this is if they just walk up to it and hit it right now. But as we see, that's not gonna happen. The turret's gonna go down. Keelan's gonna pop it in the eye. It's gonna destroy Rift Herald. That is a free tower there for Lourdes, and Dragon is coming up in just a mere 26 seconds, but Jarvan is backing. If Aquinas can get in there quick enough and establish that vision and bully them from not trying to take it, they might find themselves to be able to sneak this Dragon away. But right now, Aquinas is asking themselves the question, hey guys, can we take Dragon? Can we contest it? Are we strong enough? Can we fight? What's the game plan? And right now, I think in a full 5v5, I think it's a bit sticky. I don't think...
You know, it looks like they're rotating down, and fighting over a drag would not be the worst thing to do here. Establish what your team fight looks like.
But yet again, they do find themselves very down. Diana could possibly take out Caitlyn and Aatrox just by herself if she brings on the moon at the very right.
Just looking at this, though, you got lanes pushed up, Rift Herald's gone. Fighting at drag could be something great to see. I mean, Echo's doing great pulling out 3 of them off drag, but, you know, and Zach's backing, so this is probably... Oh, he stopped it. Okay.
Backing for Zach here would just give away the dragon, so they definitely don't want to do that. As we can see, ladies and gentlemen, Aquinas' vision control is unparalleled to what we've seen in just earlier this week. Diana's going to look to jump over the wall and probably end Caitlyn very early. We have ourselves a small skirmish. The idea is to steal it, but Jari goes in early. The ultimate comes out. Can he steal it? He steals it. Cell Division goes out. Ornn ultimate goes up. This is just looks like he's gonna goes down, but he does steal the dragon.
So it looks like this was very important too, because you want to gauge that, and it wouldn't have affected them too harshly. I mean, they probably would have lost tier 1 bot tower, but.
We have an engage going out. Oh, the flash heal from Double Zero gets us out of the Cataclysm. Excellent play there. He has no mana, only auto attacks now. World Ender comes out from It's John just to protect his ADC. Double Zero. Fantastic play right now. I believe he's currently finds himself 0-0-0, 156 CS to the enemy center 141. She does have she is currently 103, but his display of skill right there. The heal may have just been a panic heal, but nonetheless was an excellent display there. It's John's going to let Tom Kench back because Tom Kench, you know, he's the Kench. It's John.
Bench the Kench.
It's John could have probably put a beat down on him, but yet again, it may have just been too difficult in quotation marks, we'll say, given the CC that Tom Kench can put out. So it might not just have been worth for the trade there for It's John.
So that dragon showed me really 2 things. One, team fights are probably very winnable as long as they can, you know, focus on the right targets. They can, you know, worry about not only getting the objective, but also kind of clearing people. Jfreeze had a wonderful ult right there that, you know, caught out, I want to say 3 of them. And Echo, who had pulled 3 of them before, immediately rotated top. So you can see that Keelan knows, you know, what he's doing and how to play that. You know, they were fighting a 4v5 and still won Drake, as well as getting the top tower, which, you know, as a trade-off, it was a it was a 1-for-1, and a tower and a Drake for a tower. So that was definitely a 1 trade by Aquinas. And, you know, it's going to be really important to see what happens here.
Keelan's setting up an attempt to assassinate the Diana, but even with just 2 abilities going out, the Diana just does too much damage. Jarby coming in. He does not have Cell Division, so this is very sketchy. Tom Kench coming up too. J-Freeze is there, but J4 is also there. This is if anything, they just want to back out of this fight. This is not a favorable fight for him. Keelan does have rewind. He's throwing out the shield. Jay Freeze throws out an ultimate in mid lane, makes the Senna flash out of it. Overall, there's gameplay happening all over the map.
It does look like Lourdes is setting up for Rift Herald, making someone answer bot lane, gaining all that vision on Rift Herald. They'll probably look to do it, either sneak it as soon as the scuttle is gone from River, or just win a team fight and go from there.
Keelan able to successfully land his W, I believe, his shield and stun on that Diana there. Throws out his Q and does the E combo. Able to do some damage and makes that Diana back, actually. She's going to get healthy really quick and then head back to top lane, try to dance around Baron because Rift Herald's no longer around. We have hit 20 minutes. Aquinas is down around 3,500-4,000 gold here. So the division is getting smaller and smaller, but not as quickly as we hope. But once again, we do find Aquinas down. But this game is still anyone's game.
That's what I like to see. Aquinas is fighting, and I want to say they're actually winning, even though they're down 1-8 and 3,500 gold. Because just watching that last drag fight, there was so much going on with. They were worried about how Aquinas would respond to it, and Aquinas almost had the upper hand mentally. And it looks like
Keelan finds himself 1v3. This tower dive is. Oh, we have Jari on the lower backside of top lane. 0 making his push up. Jayfree's hanging out in the mid lane, and we have John entering that Ornn at the bot lane. I think now John is no longer able to contest the Ornn. We have Diana going in. He's gonna have to force the rewind right in Tom Kench. The flash comes out. He's gonna be able to get away. He might be able to. No, he does not. The exhaust does come out from the Tom Kench. If only that was a smite, because he almost took it on accident. They are looking to do Baron now. It's John currently bot lane. The vision control on Baron for Lourdes University. Looks like they're chasing Ornn, but the real play is in top lane right now. Jari looking to steal, but he is level 10 to Jarvan's 11. He has stolen once before from being a lower level. I believe at Dragon he was a level under. But Ornn is going to TP in there just to secure this here. But if Jayfree is able to... Oh, we have Ornn going in with the ultimate. The sun comes down from Leona. It forces the flash from It's John. The Deathbreak comes out. It's John doing his best to CC and just knock up the enemy team, but they're able to pick him off with the Ornn QE combo. That does lose It's John his life, but that does stop the Baron. Now they will head to Dragon, but 0 already takes the Dragon. 0. Big brain moves, baby.
I didn't want to say anything because I was almost wondering if you would catch it, just because I was kind of sitting there watching the mini-map as you were watching the fight go on. And, that was really smart because I saw 0 split off and start to take Dragon. I was like, what is he doing? You have a fight here. But, pulling them off Baron. They didn't finish Baron.
Beautiful.
And PJR also got the drag. Is a pretty big swing. And, again, it's a life for a Dragon. But, Aatrox is starting to be worth less gold as he's now 0-3. So, it's almost... They contain the Dragon. So they're now even in Dragons for Dragon Soul. As well as they pulled them off Baron. So there was no Baron done. And we also have, Aatrox is still out farming this Ornn. So there's not really a lead for this Ornn.
Besides he is 2-1-1, so he does have that goal up there too. We do have another Baron attempt.
Yeah, I think this is a questionable call by Lourdes right here because we have two teleports on Echo and Aatrox right now.
It's Sean, teleport up. The Cataclysm comes out. Huge team fight. Let's bounce coming up from Zach. J4 jumps onto 0, and that is going to knock off enough enemies on the side of Aquinas to take them down. And once again, retry this Baron. I I was too busy watching the Baron play itself that I did not see the map movement. That where they fought was not the best place to fight because it's very cramped right in that little bush right there, and that little, not alcove, but the little alleyway right there. And that just allowed Jarvan to EQ the whole team, then Cataclysm, and then force some flashes. But yet again, it was just too much. It was just too much for Aquinas, and then they were just overpowered there.
And I really think that was the perfect call by Lourdes. I think if they had waited 2 more seconds, you would have had the Echo and the Aatrox right there. That really would have put a difference on that team fight. They would have made their mark and really showed kind of what's going on and who's the boss right there. But Jarvan made the quick read and said, we got to do this now or never. Went for the fight. 5-on-3 instead of 5-on-5.
As we sit, Aquinas on the side of KDA is naturally not looking too well, given the fact that it is 1-13. It's John 0-3-1, Jari 0-3-0, Keelan 1-5-0, 00 0-1-0, J Freeze 0-1-0. But 00 is doing a great job at just CSing, and sometimes when you have a Caitlyn in game, sometimes the only thing she has to do is just CS, because late game, Caitlyn is still Caitlyn. Her headshots do incredible amounts of damage.
And it's really important to note here, all she has is Stormrazor right now. She's building into the Infinity Edge, but it's just a Stormrazor on Caitlyn. Once that Infinity Edge is built, that's a big game changer. That's a huge power spike on her.
We do have the Baron Cannon minions just plopping and just damaging the turret here. They're going to want to take that down as soon as they can, but with the auto attack range from Caitlyn, it's going to be able to put them down sooner rather than later. Jari, as Zach, he needs that gold income to be able to buy those tanky items to be able to be more sufficient as a champion. Because I know that Jari is just a great player in general, but he just finds himself with not enough gold to make his champion be sufficient. Ornn doing a number on Aatrox here. Very impressive. I do fancy myself to play some Ornn here and there, but this damage is quite impressive here. We do see It's John not too terribly healthy. Oh, the Deathbreaker comes out. The world out there also goes that It's John is going to get tower dove. Ooh, a late ultimate coming from J Freeze. Questionable. It was definitely a misplay here. But given, Diana's going to dive onto 00, and this game is looking more over than it is not. Keelan going to try to do the best that he can, but at the end of the day, he is currently 1-5, and he's going to flash into his own fountain. A kill for Keelan on the side of the turrets. Turrets currently doing a number on the enemy champions here. Keelan going to jump in for his ultimate, not his ultimate, excuse me, for the shield. This is going to be game here, game 1, and as we sit at 3:42 p.m. Keelan goes back in, possibly just to get one more kill, but finds himself getting killed. Z-Rock, Hockey Dude, we appreciate it. About Kobe Bryant, it is quite a sad story, and we would like to send out our thoughts and prayers to the Bryant family. Benzing, you do hear Tommy, that is I. But we appreciate you guys tuning in for the first match here. I personally will have to leave, and I will not be here for the second match in this best of 3 because I actually have to head out to cheer practice. But nonetheless, I believe Jay will be coming in to sit with you, Luke, and he knows a lot more about this game than I. But we do thank you for your viewership, and we will be right back with the second game of this best of 3.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's Luke, also known as Speed on the Rift. Um, so, Suitor, I see. What did I miss? I might as well explain kind of what happened the last game. Some really impressive things to look at. PGR is looking much, much more confident in lane, which is a really cool thing to see. Um, Diana got very fed. They took 2 early dragons. Aquinas started to bounce back by taking the next 2 and having some pretty good fights, but at that point they were down 1-13, so it was pretty difficult to come back, and they ended up getting snowballed in and lost. So, I'm excited to see what the game 2 is going to look like. We're going to have, a fun time in here. We're looking, we're going to hope that they're more on the objectives. Hopefully Keelan gets another roaming champ. I'd like to personally see that because, that's always something spectacular to see. It's John got his Ornn, which is going to be really fun to watch. Took it out from their top laner, Leoto. It looks like this time they're going to run Braum and Senna in the bot lane for the side of Lourdes. And they definitely banned out that Diana on the Aquinas side to make sure that doesn't happen again. The Fizz is banned. Keelan has a really good, win rate on Fizz, so it's going to be interesting to see who he grabs next. Jari got his Lee Sin, so we will be able to see, if with this new vision that we have going on, if he'll be able to answer better, not fall behind as much, and really swing this game.
Hi guys, Blue Jay here, coming back into the booth for the second game. They pick up the Lee Sin, Morgana Ornn, and Rek'Sai's answered on the other side. Typical Lee Sin counter in the matchup. Works pretty well with early pressure. It's going to be curious to see how Lee Sin fits into this composition, see where the next mid solo lane's going to be, see if they can abuse that matchup with the Lee Sin, or abuse it on the other side with the Rek'Sai. So just going to look out a few more bans. Caitlyn ban didn't want to deal with the safety of a Caitlyn in that last game, and we'll see what John picks up here. Really a ban picked up. Might be a flex for the mid lane. They just don't want to deal with it with an Ornn. Looks like they just don't want to push that side lane pressure. Ornn can be abused a little bit. Akali banned on the other side. A flex for both Keelan and John, but they've already picked up the Ornn, so mostly targeted towards Keelan. Still don't want to see the Akali here in this next game. What are you looking to pick up here, Luke, on either side?
So on the Lord side, I really think having, one more heavy CC champ would really throw them over the balance. And then, picking up a high damage source for probably the mid lane, like a Cassiopeia.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks like they have a lot of defensive tools between the Cassiopeia Miasma on her W and the Braum, of course, being with the concussive blows and, the unbreakable shield. So very curious to see how the rest pans out. Looks like they might need a little bit more power in terms of engage. Obviously, they have a lot of firepower between Senna, Cass, and Rek'Sai. They might just, do a fallback plan where they get to an objective first and defend their position, and then they don't have to engage because they'll already be there. So that's kind of what they're looking at. I don't think there's really a huge member in the top lane who can provide some of that engage that's going to overcome the rest of their obstacles. So it might be better just to stick with their game plan here and see what Aquinas drafts out. Ezreal, another safe pick on their side. What are you looking for Keelan here? What do you think is going to be the answer to Cassiopeia?
I guess a Vigar.
Yes, a Vigar. Yeah. We stand corrected.
I was just going to say, I do want to see a Shen top.
Yeah,
I feel like that really gives them that hard engage. It really answers to covering up their firepower and making sure that they're all going to be able to survive. Aquinas does look like it has more of a disengaged comp to deal with the Shen and Braum. And, it's really going to be who can get the jump on the other, I guess. Well,
It's gonna say who can move up fastest, right? Because you're kind of waiting on cooldowns between the Cassiopeia, Miasma, and the Vagar cage. The baby cage, see how they move up in the position. There was a team yesterday, I believe, that played with the Vagar, and they just played off the E cooldown very well, just inching step by step right into. I was just saying. Sorry, just reading a little bit of our chat over here. All right, all right. Yeah, so yesterday they moved with the Vagar up in positioning, just taking step by step. Sorry about the delay there. It looks like we're going to be, about 3 minutes spectator day, as always. Yeah, so it looks like in terms, they're both playing a little bit more defensively, right? You're probably looking at pick potential from either Morgana Q in terms of Aquinas or an Ornn engage with his ultimate. On the other side, you're looking at Rek'Sai going in there with a huge shield on Shen to follow up, and then Senna healing off the back line. But really, I mean, it doesn't look like either one of these teams want to go all in. They kind of want to have a front-to-back team fight and push off of some pick potential.
It'll be interesting to watch this bot lane as Ezreal and Morgana seem like a very safe lane to just sit back and try and let Ezreal get farmed as much as possible. Morgana keeping Senna and Braum off of Ezreal, but on the other hand, Senna and Braum could be. I mean, that's like Braum hits a Q, Senna hits a W, and that's a team fight.
Yeah, the lockdown on either side seems pretty good, especially with the Braum. It looks. I mean, how are you going to engage into a team fight like that, even if you hit a Morgana Q in lane? I suppose without intervention from other lanes. Like, how can you capitalize on a Q? Because Braum just puts his shield up. It's going to take a ton of reduced damage, and then Senna can heal him up afterwards. So you kind of want to look to harass the enemy bit by bit here. Just put them down to health until they get to a kill threshold and push them out of lane. The problem is it can happen from either side, right? Like Senna lands a W or Braum hits a Q, like you're saying, and then they get a stun off. And depending on where the black shield is from the Morgana, it's hard to capitalize on. So it is a little bit more front to back. Doesn't look like there's a ton that can abuse. You're probably looking more at the jungle matchup, right? Where's the vision going to be set up? Where's the pressure going to be applied to? Because it looks like Jawry doesn't have a ton of options on where he wants to gank. They're probably looking at the mid lane, just throw the cage down to Cassiopeia, and Lee Sin comes in here to finish off the kill. But if Rek'Sai shows up, the whole clan goes to naught. I mean, what are you going to do with that sort of thing? It's curious to see how each game plan pans out. Are they going to invade here? What's your thoughts, Luke?
I would actually like to see an invade out of Lourdes. I wouldn't like to see it for Aquinas, but, Lourdes does have a really strong level 1 where Vigar is going to have to answer by starting Cage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could say the same end on Aquinas if you have the Morgana bind, but yeah, Braum is definitely a dangerous individual to go against, so maybe they just 5-point, right? Play it a little bit safe. Unfortunately, the Kleptomancy's not in the game, so Ezreal's not going to be feeding off some free gold here at level 1, but see what kind of poke they can put down, maybe defend some vision. Curious on how the jungle pathing would like to be. I think you probably want to focus a little bit more on top side early here for the Ornn, get him a little safe, get an item lead over Shen, so Shen can't have as much impact on his game with his ultimate and can't farm as well with the Rek'Sai. So you'll probably be seeing, either, the typical red to blue to Gromp top side, or he might just stay bot side and look for an early kill with a, Morgana Q to follow it up. Same with Rek'Sai, maybe looking to abuse some of these matchups. We'll see when we get into game here. Obviously, we're going to be loading into screen. What are your thoughts on some of this Rek'Sai matchup?
I think Rek'Sai, especially with Hail of Blades, could be at a dragon early.
Mm-hmm.
I think, maybe coming into Lee Sin's jungle to take him out at his red could be something that could happen. I think Lee Sin might be able to win that matchup, but, it's one of those kind of risk rewards, and I think the communication between the mid laner and the jungler would be very vital there, but it could create a very early swing for Lourdes.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be right back in just a second. I'm going to set up some of this more spectator focus. So why don't you take it over from here?
All right. So looking at the team fights, just like Jay was saying, it really is front to back. It's going to be who hits CC, where the CCs hit, on who. We're definitely looking for the engage disengage that's going to happen. It's going to be exciting to watch what Keelan's going to be able to do, but I really I wonder what made them choose this team comp just with the Braum there, because I believe Braum was the first pick, and and all of these champs that Aquinas had chosen are, I'd say, countered by Braum, just because they're all skill shots, they're all down the line, and that's going to be a huge thing into Braum's shield. So it'll be about baiting Braum's shield with, maybe just a Vigar ult right out the way, and then as soon as that's down, it's a one-team fight. And it looks like both sides are going to play it safe. Lee Sin's actually going to start blue side, so he could be invading, or I guess, yeah, Lee Sin's starting blue side. It looks like he might be potentially rotating mid or bot at level, for a level 3 gank, but we'll just have to see how this plays out. And I really do like how PJR has been really focusing on ADC. This bot lane is looking much more comfortable. They are, they're running it much better. PJR is actually able to farm comfortably. He's not dropping much CS in the early game. Even throughout the end game, I think he actually had the most farm of last game.
All right, I'm back over here at the booth. Nothing cheesy going on at level 1, just typical standard clears.
It actually does look like Rek'Sai's coming down for the mid lane gank, and Cassiopeia, and
Looks like a flash from Keelan just to get out. Posture a little bit too close to the side lane, and Rek'Sai just tunnels over. No avail, really. I mean, the lockdown between Cassiopeia and Rek'Sai is pretty well known in higher elo. Two champions that can mess up any carry or anyone in that lane.
And it does look like they had the perfect pinch, one on either side, kind of closed them off from an escape either top side, bot side, or even back to his tower.
Yeah, especially with Rek'Sai Hail of Blades, right? You go into to an opponent, knock them up so they can't CC or get out of any CC, and then Cassiopeia throws down a Miasma and just totally locks him down. Another gank over onto Ornn. Flash, match with the flash. Looks like they're just going to burst him down. Yep, first kill onto Ornn. Good job by Lourdes. But other side, Aquinas responds with a bot lane kill. Good gank by Jari, just coming down, cleaning up, hitting off that summoners, and looks like the Senna just couldn't do anything to help out the Braum. Looks like they're just going to hold this wave here, zone the Senna off from getting any XP, push that lead even more. Ooh. Cleanse the Vagar cage. Rek'Sai just going to try and tunnel down, but doesn't have a flash to match up. Oop, lands the Q by Morgana and just provides a little bit more harassment to the Senna. Not sure if that's worth it. Maybe you just want to keep the lane frozen, keep her away from XP. Don't get in range to really take any more abuse. Probably want to look to reset by this Morgana a little bit, harder to do anything when you have a quarter HP, but so just push up their vision a little bit more. Gets caught by this. Ooh, good flash to escape some of that damage. Barely gets alive, but gets away, but that's maybe taking a little bit more damage and abuse than they would have liked. Looks like Shen just trading up really aggressive here in the top lane, using that grass pop and Q on cooldown very effectively, trying to bully out this Ornn. Kind of the opposite of what I'd expected here. Maybe Jabri would have hit on the top side, but Lourdes had the same idea.
And just by watching kind of Rek'Sai's jungle route, I mean, I'm sure you're the expert here, but it almost looked like she's starting to set up the bot side just for an early drag, and I think she's probably resetting right now, maybe to even solo it, just with how far pushed Aquinas is back in the bot lane.
Yeah, it would be pretty hard to do. Drake's probably hurt very, very much at this stage of the game, especially with early junglers. She does have some of that early gold with, finish her jungle item there. Not to pick up warrior or anything, but just the first component there. I forget what it's called, but has a long sword. Ocean and Cloud Drake are kind of the two hardest Drakes to solo, so it does look like they pushed in bot lane. and then might, use some of that pressure here. Looks like they're just going to establish some more control in the mid lane before they go. That's kind of one of the steps you want to do when you're, pushing for these drakes, is get control over both lanes so your laners can respond faster than theirs, and they can still own an objective for free. It looks like they might just start it up because they know everyone's back. So they don't even have to contest. The problem with, Ocean and Clouds, they'll get you so low that someone can just come in here and take it away. It looks like Lee Sin is going to try and do just that. If he lands a Q, maybe he might be able to outsmite the Rek'Sai. Yeah, they're just waiting on it. Don't want to contest it. They know Lee Sin has an execute on his Q and can match that with a smite and do a little bit more damage than a Rek'Sai true bite damage on her E. Well, looks like they did finish it off. Dragged it out a little bit more. We're unable to watch that on our screen, but just excellent play by Lourdes, just dragging out the dragon and just finishing it off while Lee Sin goes elsewhere because they couldn't get enough vision on there. They didn't have the lane priority from either mid or bot side, so we were watching this top side just trading back and forth, keeping themselves healthy between items, and we'll see where it goes from here. I guess my question for you now, Luke, is do you think they're going to try and keep pushing this bot lane lead, or?
I feel like Senna did have definitely an involvement kind of late game, but it wasn't, nearly as much as the mid laner. So I'm actually thinking Rek'Sai might focus more of the ganks on the top and mid side because, bot lane, I think they have the, lane priority advantage over minions just with the Senna Braum is, I think, a little more devastating than an Ezreal and Morgana. So I think just knowing that their bot lane can shove at any time and they can capitalize on those drags, that it might be better for Rek'Sai to just try and get their top lane and the mid lane, especially, with John and Keelan almost being the carries of this team.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree. They probably want to focus more on this mid lane. Just, based off the combo we had talked about before, it's just much easier to abuse, especially a Veigar, who doesn't have any real terms of escapes or dashes, just has the cage to work through. Another scuffle in the top lane here. Good job by both members, right? Itch John saves his auto attack so he can proc it later, while Shen has his W up so it wouldn't go through. Another landed W on here. Not going to do much with a Morgana Black Shield, but just trading back and forth across the map.
And the more you look at it, Senna's just such a great ADC because she's an ADC and Soraka all in one.
Oh, looks like the scuffle up here went through. Oh, and Senna gets the snipe, railed gun down, right from the bot lane to top, all the way across. Global ultimate like that is just something you have to keep in mind when you're fighting up there. John got, taunted under tower, took a few tower shots, and just abused up there across the map. So excellent job from Lord, just spotting that out and communicating when they're low and, what summoners were up. So more pressure across the map. We'll see. It looks like Rek'Sai's hovering mid here yet again, trying to make a play onto the Veigar. So.
And what I'd actually like to see right now from Jari would be, mid is Keelan's definitely doing a great job fighting off this Cass and the Rek'Sai all in one, but I'd almost like to see a gank. Oh, I guess fighting at chickens would be great too, but a gank in top lane and just set up for that Rift Herald. Match the dragon with a Rift Herald.
Ooh, dodged ultimate by Veigar. Look at that. Finishes her off. Excellent play. Flashes over the wall, but it looks like... Oh, Rek'Sai actually goes for the Lee Sin here, assuming that the Veigar would be down, and John's left to try and clean up around here. So a 1-for-1 trade, probably a little bit more worth for the Aquinas side, given, having an early lead onto a Veigar, and, feel free to get to the back sooner in the way he's pushing in. So Cass is going to miss some minions here. Veigar's actually down by quite a bit CS just from the pressure of the Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai is getting huge here, so we'll see what, she does with the lead. Looks like the junglers are just going back to their respective sides. Like Lee Sin probably wants to take his red, or maybe just going to go straight bot side, maybe for a little bit of cleanup. Unfortunately, both sides have pretty much every summoner available. Aquinas doesn't have their flash up on 00, but Lee Sin's just coming in for a lane game, maybe to push it out so they can get a reset in. But oh, excellent! Look at this. Morgana flashes in there, gets an ult off Insomnia so they don't go through the damage. But maybe Jari should have wrapped around the other side to cut him off instead of come through the lane. But what ifs, right?
It looks like
Yeah,
so
Israel just goes wide, and
it looks like they're gonna turn 4 bot.
Rek'Sai's on the hunt, moves down away.
Which
Jabri has to flash away.
unless they dive, I don't think this is worth it to bring this Cass away from here.
Ooh, excellent ward hop by Lee Sin, getting away right before the miasma comes down, so he can't be stopped. So, good job by Jabri. I mean, you are right. Is it really worth it? I would say so. They burn a lot of summoners. They get more lead on the bot side as the wave's pushing in, so they could probably get some turret plates. Veigar is pushing up on that turret, but he doesn't have a ton of turret pressure, so it's not like they're going to lose anything in terms of gold. So they do burn terms, maybe look control of the Drake. As the dragon was coming up, it's probably worth in terms of map pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Aquinas had to reset, they don't have the numbers or health or summoners available to really
Or
push
vision.
for this. Or vision, yeah.
And I think that's really important to point out, though, is that, last game with the engaged support, Jay Freeze definitely had much better vision than with this Morgana. And, maybe it is that comfort of being tanky, but, the wards just aren't there this game. And, showing up to objectives early and watching the clock is very important in this game, especially with, having this Rek'Sai and Cass are gonna shred that dragon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely about that vision game, right? No one wants to face check as a squishy mage or support like Morgana or Karma, that sort of nature. So it's hard to establish that vision and get that control. I mean, you saw Aquinas try and make a play with the Lee Sin on the bot side, didn't pan out, and they ended up taking too much damage. And with the mid lane, just roaming, they were able to push that lead out. So, trying to hit the insect here, but Shen's here. Ultimate by Senna. Kion actually snags the kill onto Cassiopeia. Brahm's even here. He might be too late. Shen has no ultimate, no one to save him. Another finish. Great job by Kion just securing some of those kills.
And I
Another
actually
lead.
really did like that Lee Sin ult right there. Although it didn't throw Cassiopeia back, right before that cage went down, he was able to get the stun on her, which, is almost more important than throwing her into, the rest of the team.
Exactly, yeah, right. You get the stun on, you can do more damage and set her up. She can't move, to add more damage on there. Yeah, it was kind of close, though. I mean, you had a Senna ult coming through with that shield. Shen actually ulted her as well, so just had shield on shield stacked up against it. But Aquinas is still able to burst down with the Veigar ultimate and Lee Sin Q to finish her off. So, well done by the Aquinas side. A bit risky, but you have to claw your way back in. I mean, you're going to make your way, in gold if you're down on objectives. It's probably smarter, just give up the first 2 Drakes, get some control on the other side. They end up taking Rift and handing it over to the Lee Sin on Jari. Maybe look a play for gold. As turret plates are up for just a moment, might be looking for more of a tower. Engage onto Braum. Good spell shield, but finishes him off with a Q. Good job by 00, just laying in the damage while they get a pick off of the Morgana Q. And we'll see. It looks like Lee Sin's actually going to reset because the turret plates have fallen, so they're not going to be looking for a play to get gold, but more of a play to actually take a turret. More scuffle in the bot lane.
And in the process there, Aquinas also did end up grabbing the Rift Herald and just rotating top to grab a great kill right there that, they were able to capitalize on that lead.
Oh, tagged with the Q. Might be a dead Morgana here. Yep, just tagged over. Do more damage. Rek'Sai's actually taking a ton of damage from that turret, but yeah, as you were saying, just a good pickup.
I think the other important thing here, too, is, Lourdes got the first 2 Drakes, but Aquinas now has a chance to get 4 Infernals, and 4 Infernals on a Veigar.
Yeah, who already stacks a ton of
devastating.
XP. Oh, just throws down the cage there. Just get away. Cassiopeia ult just missed as Veigar walks away. You are kind of looking some item spikes here, right? Too. Veigar has completed his GLP. Looks like Brahm's actually coming in at this point later. Gets the stun onto... Oof, ults him away. Good flash from either side. Might be able to finish off this Braum. Excellent job. Just kite it out a little bit more. Looks like they do have numbers returning. Good play. Oof. Just gets pushed down a little too far. We don't currently have a spectator back in our setup, so it's kind of on direct camera right now. Sorry if we weren't to catch all of these plays, but it did look the play was over. So thank you, Riot, for pushing some of our vision game here. So we're asking right here. We do have Drake coming up in a minute 10, so we'll see where these teams decide to go. You probably want to push out this bot lane with the Ornn and get a reset now while you can. See Shen's thinking the same thing. Has his ultimate up, so he's not as worried. Ezreal backing in the top lane. They kind of want to get more control over this bot side map. Morgana's already down there. Veigar's coming mid. Jari either has to reset now, but it might be too late in order to get this control. Everyone's resetting here on the map and seeing where to go. Looks like Senna and Braum are staying in the top wave for now. So they might be just giving up this Drake. We'll see if they can move in. Like I said at the beginning of the game, they don't have much in terms of engage, so you kind of want to be at the objective first.
Well, I'm almost wondering if they're trying to trade drag for tower, but it does look like they're resetting now on top lane, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. You hit that third Drake, it's much harder to take, but you're so much closer to the soul that you probably just want to keep securing them, especially if you're ahead. That's what I've noticed a ton. Like, if you get ahead, you need to use that lead and continue to pressure. Not sure about, you know, this top side push. I think it would be better just to let the Shen stay up there and have the Ornn in the fight, first of all, because even a TP might be too late for a fight. Israel pushing in the bot wave, trying to get some more control, lose some minions or whatever. Looks like they're just staying in the bush. Rek'Sai can't see them when she's underground if they don't move, so Braum's going to face check this here. Gets pushed down, puts his shield up, survives for quite a long time. Shen actually ults into... So Braum's going to be out of the fight. Veigar still has ultimate. 0-0, sniping them with the ultimate. Jari's coming in. W's out to safety. Ornn's TP'd. Try and push this here. Ooh, good stun onto Cass. Oh, look at this. Just surviving forever between all of these shields and healing. Jari actually comes up with a kill, pushing all the way out. Excellent W. Aquinas just turns this fight all the way around. Keelan picks up a double kill after a double stun, pushing it out. Excellent work by Jari, just navigating the fight back and forth, finishing off kills. Whew.
You know, that could have been potentially been very bad. I really think that right there with the Braum, Jari was really trying to give Keelan the kill.
Yeah.
And I think that is really what turned it and allowed Lourdes to take two. But, you know, Aquinas had a great recovery. Keelan had that spectacular cage that, you know, grabbed the two remaining that were there. And they were able to lock them all down and come out on top.
Yeah, and it just shows some of the control. Like, as we said, like, both teams, they need to be there first to survive the objective. Aquinas was there first. They had to face check that bush, and Aquinas was able to secure the kill with an excellent ultimate by 0-0 here on the other end on Ezreal. Just picking him off before the fight starts. Shen had to use his ultimate to save the Braum, and Braum is kind of the main tank on this team, soaking the damage, setting up plays with stun. So just excellent pick by Aquinas, and they're able to navigate the fight pretty effectively. Keelan using his lead extremely well with the Veigar. You know, just moving up with the cages, setting them up, and using his ult effectively. You actually notice that he didn't ult the Braum when he came in because he knew the damage was going to be reduced, and it wasn't worth the pick. And actually ults the Senna later on to secure the kill. So just great idea from Aquinas, just navigating some of these abilities and ultimates.
And, you know, it's almost like you can see how well their mindset is because, you know, since that drag fight, I feel like a lot more wards have come down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks like they're more confident in their play, right?
Yeah.
You get a good pick, you make a great play, and then, you know, you're able to step up, feel more confident, work as a team more. I think that's what they've been struggling. I've heard it on some of the outskirts of some of these talks while I'm sitting in here, and it does seem like they have, you know, little trouble committing to a play, you know, working with a little bit of a new squad. We have 0-0 and Jari stepping up and stepping in, and they're doing an excellent job. It's just, you know, translating some of these leads onto the stage from scrims and practice. So, you know, seeing success on this game is going to be a huge foundation to later on in this game specifically and throughout the whole split. So I'm looking forward to see more what they can bring. In this game specifically, I'm wondering where the lead goes now, right? Because Barons come up. Your next Drake is not for, you know, another 2 minutes, 40 seconds. So they'll probably look to farm up as both teams don't have great in terms of engage. It's more about the objective control. You do see a few skirmishes back and forth across the lanes, but nothing goes too hard. You had the early game from Rek'Sai, but you know, you're at 20 minutes and it's much harder to do anything.
I'd like to see Jari try and move in one of these lanes, you know, get the pick, and then maybe take a tower.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do the same. I think it's more difficult against the Cassiopeia who can throw a miasma. She has 2 items already, and I think it's so hard for Aquinas to find the right pick because you always have a Senna ultimate coming through, a Shen ultimate to shield them again, and they can just respond from all the way across the map when you're even doing a 1v1 or a 2v1 a gank. You have two huge ultimates coming through that turn the tide of the battle, so you have to be careful on what you're trying to do. It's probably effective to try and go for these picks, back off when they use those ultimates, and then push their lead just out of a raw health advantage. So it definitely seems more objective focus right here. Jawbree's invading the jungle, establishing his dominance and trying to take some camps. Still down 30 CS in jungle camps, but you'll see Rek'Sai's only one level ahead. Looks like they're actually setting a dive on the bot side. Ultimate used by Ornn. He's going to tank. Actually ease through the cage here. Doesn't have a shield left. They're just going to burn him down here. Excellent. We'll see who gives off. It looks like Keelan's giving the kill to Jawbree, but as they put 3 members on this side, Baron's being taken already.
Azrael ults to drop their health and maybe potentially grab something else here. A great Q from Morgana on that Cassiopeia.
You look like Ezreal and Morgana are just burning them down while they're trying to take the Baron. Morgana ults in here, goes down a little too soon. Railgun by Senna. They're still going to chase them down.
Shadows comes out. This could possibly be something that...
Jawbree and Ornn are coming from the side. Looks like they're trying to go across. Senna's almost down. Excellent insect onto the Rek'Sai. Keelan's still chasing down the Senna, lands the double kill. They do pick up Baron, but there's only 2 members left alive. Look at this Veigar at this stage in the game. 8-0-4, has Twin Shadows, GLP, probably going to get the Zhonya's. Indeed picks it up, probably fully stacked after some of these minions and fights. So it looks like we're going to see from the Veigar, I'm curious to see how much AP he ends up at the end of the game. Dragon is coming up here, 10 seconds left, everyone's resetting. It might be a little bit harder for Aquinas, just because they picked up the Baron, and those Death Tiners were a little bit low and they reset after, so... they have to make a play off this right away. Good use of Twin Shadows by Veigar here. Just trying to see where they're at. Sniff them out before they tries and checks too far. Big chunk into Cassiopeia. Doesn't have his ultimate though. It's burning down. Good Zhonya's away. The poison's not going to reach it. Oh, flashes on. Shen ults. Just rough from Aquinas. Keelan tried to sniff him out with the Twin Shadows here, but ends up biting more than he can chew. Maybe could have used the cleanse, cleanse some poison and CC effects, but a little late there. It looks like they are just going to take control of this dragon and maybe hope for a steal.
And I'd almost like to see them try and grab that mid tower down instead of, late rotation to drag. And I think it's very important right now that Ornn does grab that first tower top.
Yeah, it seems Ornn probably is going to push in this tower wave, but maybe some of Aquinas members should have just been at the Drake right away, right? Like, stop, don't, finish some of these camps, don't go around for vision. Like, they haven't been to that side of the map yet. They just respawned and everything was around Baron. So just go to the Drake, go establish vision, everyone push mid, and you're going to sacrifice objectives if you're doing something else. And maybe it wasn't worth it, right? Keelan gets a huge shutdown bonus from Cassiopeia, who finishes off, and probably not worth it in terms of gold or stats. They lose the Drake, lose Keelan, and they don't even pick anything up in return, really. They're gonna use this reset to push on the mid wave. They do pick up the top tower. My apologies, but in reality, that
sadly it wasn't the first tower.
Yeah, it wasn't the first tower. Not much use out of there. Baron's already down, so it'll be good for later on in the game. Don't get me wrong. Towers are always very important in League of Legends. But probably not worth the Drake and the amount of value that it has. Because now Lourdes is only 1 Drake away from capturing that Dragon Soul, and just imagine a Dragon Soul with Senna, Cass, even Rek'Sai. They pop that Infernal Soul every 3 seconds, a huge damage bonus onto them, and they're going down fast.
You stack that with the Braum Q, and that's not something you want.
Yeah, any amount of slow you're going to get too. You have GLP Senna, so you're going to be slowed, hit them over and over and over again. Cassiopeia should be, working on a Rylai's here pretty soon. Looks like it's going to finish out Morello first. But what are you going to do in that situation? You have to peel back. There's no tanky members on Aquinas. There's no one with, heals on Aquinas. So if you get chunked out first, you're pretty much screwed for the rest of the fight, So they're just going to farm up a little bit here. Again, there's no objectives up for quite a while here. 2 minutes on Baron, 3 minutes on the next Drake. Those are just playing around waves and vision to keep farming up. You know, as the game goes on, Senna's going to be collecting more and more souls, which gives her more range, more crit strike, eventually a lifesteal. So building this lethality and Edge of Night that gives her a little bit of a shield here is very important. We'll see where she ends up in terms of damage and you know, just raw carry potential. Shen's pushing on this top side, taking some tower aggro, but you know what, Shen, he's tanky enough. It's not really going to make that much of a difference. That damage from Senna, man. Already poking out the Morgana. And this is what I'm talking about, right? You already have some of that damage with a W and a Q. What else is going to do with an Infernal Drake? I mean, Rek'Sai lands a Q on somebody when they're already low and they're pretty much dead. In terms of power, if we look at some of these items, right, Ornn has already started to give away some of his upgrades. Zhonya's completed 4 Vhagar. Maybe would have liked to see that held off a little bit more for the Rabadon's death cap. I don't think a lot of armor is going to be doing a lot for the Vhagar. Most of the damage probably coming from the Cassiopeia, which is some magic damage. I think I'd rather see more raw AP on the Vhagar. Sunfire Cape completed for the Ornn. He still has one more item to build that he can upgrade. Trinity Force onto Ezreal, excellent pickup. So the next one's probably going to be Zhonya's on Morgana. She probably doesn't build anything else besides maybe a Redemption that could be upgraded by Ornn. So they do have a lot in terms of power. The gold, as you see, you know, the gold lead is Lourdes, you know, by about 1,000. But Ornn items add about, you know, 1,000 to every item you upgrade. So in reality, Aquinas is technically ahead in terms of just raw items. Power levels are obviously different based on levels, but it's pretty much even all across the board. So it's all about this objective control, right? You have a minute coming for this Drake. Aquinas might be pushing too far out. They needed to come into the river, try and establish that dominance first instead of just going right through the lane. Someone needs to lead that charge. CS Lourdes already establishes some of this control on the objective just because Aquinas didn't rotate through into the Drake.
And this is a very important fight too, just because this is the fight for the soul, and these next few drags will be. So it's going to be, you know, do you give up the soul and maybe try and switch onto something like Baron? I mean, I feel like you have to fight on to, you know, get this Dragon Soul and make sure that they don't grab it. So,
and that's really the case. You have to fight for the Dragon Soul. It means that much in terms of League of Legends. Looks like they're engaged by this Ornn. The taunt misses, so Ornn still gets it off. Lee Sin coming from the side, can't see anything. Gets the ult off into 2 members, but Aquinas has to run through the Miasma. Big Morgana ultimate here, see if she can stun up anyone. Only gets 1, actually. Oof, railgun by Senna. Finishes off the Ornn, who's been burning down. 00 picks up a kill onto the Rek'Sai. And Shen's down, but, I mean, it's 3v3. You do have all the damage dealers up, so we'll see what can happen. Cass can burn down this Drake, and I don't think Aquinas can really move in. It's Vhagar's, you know, out of mana at this point, has to reset. So this is probably the Dragon Soul for Lourdes, unfortunate as it is. Just excellent use by them. Moving into the river and establishing control while they are pushing up, where Aquinas just left out into the mid lane. So you can see if there's a steal. It's very unlikely. 00 actually tries to go all in. Props to him. He tries and makes the move. Knows it's the final Dragon Soul, so he has to contest. Moves all the way through, even flashes back over. So
but they just face blocked that a little too well.
yeah. There's nothing you can really do right there. You know, you have the Braum E to stop any form of auto attack range from Ezreal. So he was close. Don't get me wrong. You know, there wasn't a smite on either side. So good props to Ezreal just jumping in there, but unfortunately to no avail, as Lourdes does pick up the Dragon Soul. Infernal, like I said before, every 3 seconds you do a damage proc around the enemy that you hit. So you'll see a little bit on your screen here. That small explosion is the Infernal Slow. So let's see where this moves in. Baron is up. Aquinas is going to try and establish some vision, then move over. Unfortunately, Morgana was on the other side, and pretty much has all the vision wards, and you need all 4 of your members at that point before you start pushing up for vision. I mean, you had Ezreal in the mid lane, but you want to have someone pushing out waves, and Shen can just stay on the bot side of the map with his ultimate, giving him a global advantage over anyone that comes to try and split push. So they've pushed in mid wave, get some more control over here so they can move into the jungle and establish vision, try and clear out where they can, sniff out any opponents. They're going to try and collapse into this Lee Sin. Good ward hop away, but they're just going to clear out the wards like I said before and see what they can do. Keelan and Jay Freeze just fishing for picks using, the Vagar cage and the Morgana Dark Binding to just see what they can do. Ornn has moved down to the bot lane, try and match this Shen, see how effective that is. He does have TP up, so he'll reach the fight if Shen ults in. It's going to be a little bit time discrepancy, but it looks like they're just going to be, pushing for this. Good ult by 00, just trying to sniff it out, but Morgana just face checks the bush and is burst down by the cast. And Senna already actually picked up the Duskblade, Edge of Night, and has her Mura mana fully upgraded, so it's going to do a tremendous amount of damage into anyone that tries and pushes through. Some pokes by 00, but Senna's just trying to heal him back up. Cass has the healing in her Twin Fangs kit, so we'll see if they're just going to keep trying to push for this Baron, match a few waves, and what else they can do. So they're just trying to force an engage. Good shield by Vagar, trying to cut off, 2 members. Ornn misses the E onto that. Lee Sin actually gets an insect onto Senna. She's exhausted. Shen ults, and it moves over, but there's no one really to capitalize onto this.
And Lourdes right here is doing a really good job at splitting up all of Aquinas because, as you can see, the 2 carries are on the right side, but they can't move in because...
Shen ults for the taunt, but misses. Rek'Sai comes in here, see what else we could do. 00 and Keelan are on the other side of the map trying to keep pushing. Excellent, shield by Braum to block the ultimate. Railgun comes through. Keelan's being run down by the Cassiopeia. Ezreal gets ulted over here. You have Shen on the backside who went all the way around. Finish them off. Clean ace from Lourdes to take control of this Baron.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a great team fight by Lourdes. As soon as, John came through, they split the whole team. I mean, John moved over to the Lee Sin, and he still had the carries trying to sit in the back line as this is, front-to-back team fighting.
Yeah.
And the back line couldn't move forward without risk of, just being absolutely taken out like they did as soon as John and Jay Freeze were out.
Yeah, it just seemed like they needed to take a few more precautions, maybe push up the mid wave, see if they can contest some of that minion pressure, make them work for the pressure that Lourdes was putting onto Baron and move up as a team. You didn't want Morgana's checking up there. You wanted to throw Qs, have Ornn face check maybe a little bit more, keep throwing some poke out before you step up that far. I mean, you have Morgana Q, you have Ezreal Q. You know that someone's going to be sitting in that bush regardless. So maybe you use a little bit more of your tools that you have to push, your vision control.
And this is one of those times in the game where, all Aquinas can do for now is really almost turtle and try and just shove out the waves and get any pick that they can possibly grab because, a team fight's not what you're going to be wanting to fish from right here, just with the Baron buff as well as, Lourdes is looking to start to, you have the Infedge, the Duskblade on Senna. Cass already has the Rabadons as well as, Leandries and a Morello. I mean, they're starting to match Aquinas with their items, and it's, maybe even scale past them. And I think that's kind of where...
Oh, look at that. Flash Ultimate Cassiopeia. You would see it coming with the Senna, mist in there, so you can't even see it coming. So very well done using the Senna kit to the maximum potential right there. I mean, that's something you won't see a ton of, but you really should see more. A Senna grouping up with her team and using that ability to mask some of your other intentions from other big tank members or people who can apply CC. So it looks like they're just going to shuffle down this turret, push mid all the way through. Bot lane's dead on the terms of Aquinas. They might be able to just end the game from this. They have the wave pushing from top side, rotate over, take this inhib. A little bit of an engage by Ornn, try and push him off a little bit more. But, you have Vagar, but most of that damage, another push by Shen. Just locked down by the Miasma by Cassiopeia. I was trying to say most of Vagar's damage can be seen from a mile away. Just has all this actually flashed into the fountain to take down Rek'Sai as she ulted onto him. So good push, good cage by Vagar. Actually gets one. Braum's still up. See if they can push him down with that turret. Super low. More damage on the Cassiopeia. Both turrets are down. Cass has another ultimate available. Just can't move up just in time. Senna, the damage is too much. Baron minions take over the base, and a loss from Aquinas onto Lourdes. She's doing an excellent job of controlling some of this objective. So I'm going to push for the stream over here. I'll leave you to sign out.
All right. So kind of breaking down what today kind of looked like. First game, Aquinas ended up falling behind, and that they fell too far to be able to recover. And the second game, it was looking good. Lourdes had some really good calls, especially with that Snuck Baron. That first Baron that they got was probably the play that turned this game. And, it was very vital to turning this game and allowed them to end up winning. So that's all we've got for today. Aquinas will be busy practicing, I'm sure. And, we're definitely going for the win next time. Thanks, everybody, for watching.